Hello and welcome to the DFS_PhD show for today, the 13th of November. Remember, you're good enough, you're strong enough, and gosh darn it, someone's got to win that money. Might as well be us. And hey, look at that again. I really like these qualifiers. I'm not going to point them specifically out to you exactly where they are because like 10 or 20 of you could really ruin all the overlay. But and also, I mean, it would cost you a lot of money and I'm winning them all. So I don't want to take from you in that fashion. But yeah, I really like these showdown qualifiers they're running. I don't think everybody's noticing them. They're running them at weird times, sometimes on the night slate, sometimes not. So you just got to keep an eye out whenever they're running a weird qualifier like that you're really into. So I won an 888 last week. It got me into it. And I've chopped it now twice since then. My ROI is even better than regular, the low dollar satties. So the satellite strategy appears to work for these larger tournaments just as well as the higher dollar tournaments. And also thank you to Rui Hachimura for going off. But no thank you to Austin Reeves for hitting that last free throw and for keeping it close at the end. What was that about? Like if that game if they just hold the ball, don't make that last three, don't foul Austin Reeves, I win. Also chop two ways the 888. So this would be 444 more than this. And that lineup did well, obviously, anyway, but still, come on, man. It could have been like a $1,300 night. Instead, it's just a $900 night. So we're crying. Speaking of people who are crying about their thousands of dollars nights, congratulations again to everybody who won last night. I said on the Conklin catches, yeah, that was part of the final lineup. I don't know. I had missed seeing that. I guess they chopped other lower prizes as well. But yeah, good. Nice win. $12,000, $13,000, even 45 dupes seems like a lot. There's a lot of people in that competition, man. Winning $13,000 is even for a shark a bankroll for a week. So I mean, 6 slates. I guess that's not a week for every shark, depending on the number of sports you play. But yeah, and depending on the cost of your various slates. I know some of you guys like to do the higher dollar stuff, and I see why. It's maybe a lot easier to win. Maybe richer people aren't always smarter. Have I seen this elsewhere? Anyway, okay, so on to today's NBA slate, and I'll stop injecting politics. So we have the Washington Wizards with the highest pace on the slate. I suggest letting that guide your considerations for the slate. Now, it's obviously a possible blowout. So you don't want the blowout to happen to those lineups, but at the same time, I don't think you can cross it out. Washington has the highest pace in the league, and somebody's going to get there from the Raptors, even maybe in a blowout, even if they don't play the fourth quarter. You can still see Siakam or one of the other. Actually, where is Scotty Barnes? I knew I boosted him. Huh? Only getting the 20%, matching the field with Scotty. Interesting. Well, come on. Look at your shoulders. Inviting the cat over to the show. Okay, so rules for today. Rules for today. We're assuming doubtful the Aaron Fox is still out. I'm allowing 500 wiggle room because it's a 4-gamer, and I think there might be some it's still the win probabilities per lineup is gonna fall off pretty steeply, but with the possibility of late news in this Cleveland Sacramento game, I'm not sure. I should say the way all these slates I've started really taking down a lot. I've started by using pace expectations to set my total projections of points. So because Toronto is playing against Washington, who has the highest projected pace, I'm projecting them for the most points on the slate. I added some amount that felt right so that they are far and away the best play on the slate. And then the next couple plays, Milwaukee and Washington, are about the same. And then the next plays, Chicago, Cleveland, and Sacramento, are exactly the same. And then Boston and New York, I don't really have an interest for multiple reasons. Number one, close to a blowout. Number two, Boston's really good. Number three, they're two of the bottom half teams in pace. Boston's 15th and the Knicks are 26th. So yeah, it's going to be a fun game to watch potentially. I mean, I don't even know if I'm going to for sure watch it because it's not going to be a lot of points. I think it might be a blowout, and it might be like a 100-80 blowout. It could be a blowout where neither team gets you there, even if they do get the minutes or whatever. So what do you want, bud? Come on over. I'm not going to go to you. You got to come to me. Cat over there crying. Okay, so from these expectations, we get some pretty obvious things. Well, I have also gone to Court IQ for Sacramento because I didn't think these were aggressive enough for Kevin Huerter, for Malik Monk, for Keon Ellis. Keon Ellis, 32. Do we have him for 32? 24. Okay, that's not a pro. Oh, minutes concern there. Okay, so here's where we have rules. Number one, Keon Ellis is a better play than this, so I should pop him up to at least whatever number he used to be at, and he should probably be closer to 28 or something. He's definitely one of the better plays on the slate. So I need to treat him that way. But I'm going to handle it in rules. So I want maximum one Sacramento point guard and maximum one Sacramento shooting guard today. The point guards are Davion Mitchell and Keon Ellis. One or another of them is going to smash and get extended and close, whatever, however you want to consider it. And the other one is Malik Monk and Kevin Huerter. Either one of these guys could close. Yes, it was Kevin Huerter last game. Yeah, Kevin Huerter is a great play. I mean, you saw I adjusted his points up as well, but I also did that to Malik Monk. So where's Malik Monk? Like if we go to them, Malik Monk should be around the same point. Yeah, 35.22. So, these guys are both potentially going to get you there. And that's more or less parsing the slate into the pieces that oh, yeah, I don't want that much Zach LaVine. Although I guess, yeah, he's pretty low owned. A 2x stand on Zach LaVine's not crazy. I'll stay there. Because, I also, did I make the rule? I have Mitchell Robinson foul trouble, Pirtle or Precious close. I haven't introduced a Bulls rule yet. I think I need a Bulls rule, like, max one of the big three or something. But it doesn't look like I need it this slate just because I got 50% LaVine and then what? I got like any DeRozan, yeah, smattering of DeRozan. How's our Vooch levels? Vooch levels at 20. Doesn't look like I'm going to get very many of these together, and the amount of them I get together might be fine on a 4-game optimal slate. Maybe if their game gets extended, 2 out of 3. I haven't even decided the rule yet. Should it be max 2 out of 3 or max 1 out of 3? I think I've seen games where 2 out of 3 go off, but I kind of need to plot like all of their fantasy points for an entire season, which is never the sort of thing you want to do. By the way, if you want to do that and report back to us in the Discord, that would be real nice. Thank you for joining us in that community and in all of our communities. I do recommend it for late swap. Just leave a note in the YouTube if the current link is expired, and I'll just send you one. Or you can, I think, go in Discord and go to send me a direct message at DFS_PhD. I've never done that, but people seem to be able to do that. Maybe you have to add me as a friend. I'll just say yes, whatever. Okay, so potentially some operational security issues there that I don't know. Well, you want to come on? Yeah, come part of the show. But yeah, none of the other stuff surprising. You're playing Huerter, you're playing Davion. Oh yeah, so I guess Davion Mitchell's a little surprising. I have because of the max one Sacramento point guard thing. Like, let's look at the ownerships expected on the slate. Keon Ellis, 64%, and then Davion Mitchell. Let's go all the way down to Davion Mitchell at like no ownership. What? Hold on. Where even? Okay, so he's definitely one of the best values of the slate. 50% chance he's the best value of the slate ish. Wait, what? Where's Davion? Okay, down here. Yeah, 0.07% owned. I mean, number one, I think that's just wrong. I think it'll be more like 1% owned. But if he's going to be 0.07% owned, yeah, I'm going to be 50% Davion. And when it doesn't happen, I'm just going to say, yeah, it was better than 0.1% chance. I got to eat that leverage. This is just so inappropriate on this slate. If De'Aaron Fox, I had to double check. I was like, is SaberSim projecting De'Aaron Fox in or something? No, they're not. They're literally projecting Keon Ellis for 30 minutes. Did he get that? I mean, Keon Ellis stats. Oh, 31 minutes. Okay, well, he got it in the last game. Was that game close? How did that game end? 31. It was close, but also one turnover. How was that game for Davion Mitchell? But anyway, I think it's based on one game of, yeah. So the last game is what they're projecting this based on. In the last game, Davion Mitchell was 1 for 6 from 3-point range. And okay, he didn't have any turnovers, but no steals. I think if you go 1 for 6 from 3-point range, we know what's going to happen every time. And the idea that we're projecting that now for sure Keon Ellis is going to play 30 minutes based on Davion going 1 for 6. I don't know, guys. It's definitely, these guys ride the hot hand. You guys have, if you've been watching enough basketball for a while, Sacramento is a team you cannot count on who will close. If you've played Kevin Huerter before, it's not always like last slate. It's not always he takes you to the promised land. Sometimes he takes you to the late slate lobby. And that's just a figure of speech. I'm playing the late slate already anyway, but you know what I mean. You're done watching the early games if your Kevin Huerter shoots 1 for 6 and gets benched. He can do just like Davion Mitchell, man. He's just in here in the rule with Malik Monk, who I think people have also underprojected. But besides them, yeah, do I have any other unrelated plays of the slate that are not related to? Yeah, I think I slightly boosted. Who did I boost in here? Precious, yeah. So as part of my other 2 rules, Precious or Pirtle closing, I boosted both Pirtle and Precious by 6 because I think one of them is going to smash. and get extended. And I only want to average together the cases where they smash and get extended, because one of them is going to smash and get extended. They are playing against Washington and Gafford, and I mean, I guess Washington kind of small-ish, but I don't think they're going to. I don't think Toronto goes small very much. I think it's generally those guys add up to 48. So one of them is going to smash. And the other one is Mitchell Robinson. Are we getting much of him? How are we not getting much? Okay, he must be way overpriced. I capped him at 15% because he's at 3% owned. But Mitchell Robinson, foul trouble include. Oh, I didn't boost Hartenstein. That's a big problem. I got to do that. These won't be final. Yeah, I missed Hartenstein. I did the rule, but I didn't do the associated. So the reason we do the rule, right, is because of Hartenstein and Mitchell Robinson are going to split those center minutes. And in the case where Mitchell Robinson does bad, he doesn't close. In the case where Mitchell Robinson gets in foul trouble, then Hartenstein gets extended. And when Hartenstein's in the game, and this is Boston. I mean, this is a blowout play too. I'm all over this play. I'm gonna demand Hartenstein. Sometimes I'll have it be 0 to 15%, but no, not this slate. I for sure have to have some Hartenstein. I was right to include the rule. They're going against Boston. Now that's the thing. It's like the Celtics bigs are just a mess, and like it's possible they do some weird stuff coming off the bench. I don't think so. Pretty sure these are another game. I have the fork built in for a reason. These guys they split the minutes. It's 24-24 between the two, plus or minus one of them smashing. And the one of them that smashes isn't always Robinson, right? And I was talking about this with Jesse yesterday on Twitter. What are people doing? He made a Wiseman joke and nobody got it. I was like, what are you doing? I mean, I played Wiseman also at 0.1, 0.2%. So I got the joke. Everybody else is like, I don't think my plays are wise either. That's not what he's talking about. Why are people not playing backup centers? There's 150 maxers out there. He shouldn't be 0.02%. The percentage of 150 maxers just means there's a bunch of y'all doing nothing, like no procedure at all, just kind of guessing, like taking whatever the optimizers give you, because these guys need to be 5%, really. I mean, just in terms of like the actual chance of Mitchell Robinson foul trouble is easily 5%. So for me not to go to a backup center, I'm going to have to see like Okongwu on the last slate or something. He got up to 28% or something. That's fine. He's still a good play, but he's not a must jam in. You don't have to build in rules and stuff. You don't have to buff his projections. Just like you have to do that for these guys like Bassey, like Wiseman, like Hartenstein. Anybody who their name and they're a backup center, they are great, right? This is the NBA. I mean, normally I have to look them up. I have to be like, who's the backup for the backup to Orlando? If in that situation, you don't have to jam them. But if you know their name, that's because they smashed for you in the past or smashed for someone else. And these guys are great point per minute people that can always get blocks. They will get all of the rebounds. They're big and near the hoop. 1.25, 1.25, 1.25, 1.25. If you've been big and near the hoop, my grandma used to say, like we would always ask her, she played college basketball back when it was like the 1930s or she's older than that, maybe. I don't know. But at some women's college, and she was like, oh, all I did was I would get the ball and put it in the hoop. And it's like, yeah, I know. You probably had a double every game. And my grandma was not very athletic. So I'm just saying, if you are big and near the hoop, you will score points by default. Everybody's known that since the beginning of time. And the fact that backup bigs are like 0.1%, even Davion Mitchell was like a little bit more. He's about 0.1% too. Okay, so backups in general, if you know a backup could get extended, you better play him. There's huge leverage there. Okay, Precious Achua. This is what I would expect, right? Precious at 9%. That's a reasonable backup percentage. Honestly, like that's a point where I don't really want to be above the field anymore when the field is so on Precious, when they're so off of these other plays that are identical. Equal chance Hartenstein smashes to Precious smashing. Equal chance whoever the other backup was, who I've forgotten. There's even a Gafford, right? I didn't build in. Do I have Gafford foul trouble over here? Gafford foul trouble is a real consideration. It's just that his backup is one that I don't know his name. You know what I mean? So he has to smash once for me to be like, oh, okay, we got to remember. Is it Muscala? Yeah, I think that's the thing too. There's they screwed me over with that backup once. I was like counting on a Muscala game, and it turns out that they're like variable with who goes as the backup there in Washington. So there's a reason we don't have the Gafford backup play, and why Gafford is just a 15% chance either way. Let me make sure I did limit him to 15%. I haven't limited him. Okay, I got to do that for later because that guy gets in foul trouble, man. He's a great play, but Gafford be hacking. And I say that as somebody who just yesterday got mad at somebody for calling fouls on me. I'm a hacker. Right? Well, but if I get 6 fouls, probably a few of them are blocks. Anyway, still a little bit steamed, but I'm working it out here on the stream. All right, I don't have anything more to say about this slate. I told you all my tips and tricks. If we get late news like the Jimmy thing, it's all about that. Forget about this. Come to the Discord. Let's talk about the new rankings of people. I always put about an hour, or at least half an hour ahead, a first draft, and then a few minutes before the slate, I'll tell you like the ways I'm changing that draft in the final draft. And as there's news throughout the slate, like today, a lot of Cleveland and a lot of Sacramento, you see, right? That's not by accident. I want that wiggle room in case we get wild news for starters for Sacramento. Could happen. I mean, Davion could start, right? And then I don't know. Is that good? I don't know if that's good. I have to look at like court IQ with Davion on the court and see how that affects other people. Kind of. Maybe I go back to last season. I don't know what to do if Davion starts. I probably jam him. I mean, he's already at 0.1%. Even if people respond to that in the last 30 minutes, so they'll be trapped, most of them. So he won't get above 10%. Yeah, I'm still jamming Davion, even if he starts. So I think in pretty much any circumstance, that's going to wind up being my core. Kevin Huerter, Davion Mitchell, not Siakam. This is an artifact of this particular run. I'm not going to be at any amount of Siakam. So it's Huerter, it's Mitchell. It might be a coin flip on the Chicago guys. I mean, that's a reasonable play. I got a lot of Levine. I got a lot of Vooch. Yeah, I think it's a coin flip among the big three Chicago guys for the third core piece. So we'll go with Huerter. We'll go with Davion. And I mean, maybe I should say Keon Ellis. I mean, Keon Ellis is good too. I mean, you can play them together. Yeah. That's the thing. In cash, you can play them together. That's right. In the reason I build the rules, though, is because in tournaments, one of them finishes. You don't have 2 point guards on the court at the same time, which does limit their upside. And I think limits their together upside. It's possible, obviously, they're the only guys on the team that hit shots and they get there together. I just think overall, I want one or the other. Anyway, so that's the thing. I can't include them both as core, right? Because I'm saying one or the other as a rule. Anyway, so Kevin Huerter, Davion Mitchell, Keegan Murray. Okay, so what's going on here? How's he? Yeah, he's not going to be 8%, right? So people are going to chase that game, right? He's still underpriced. De'Aaron Fox is still out. What? I mean, like, yeah, he might not hit his shots. He might hit his shots again. I mean, I do have to probably limit that to 35% if y'all are really going to be just 8%. I don't want to be 10x the field or whatever on Keegan Murray, who could still, I agree, have a bad game, but what are you doing? That's definitely the third core. It's Kevin Huerter, it's Davion Mitchell, it's Keegan Murray. Everybody else, like I'm getting to here for now, but that's just based on like for Koulibaly, it's really a coin flip. I don't know what's going on with this rotation. He could play 40 minutes, he could play 20 minutes. I don't know. Yeah, but if he plays 40 minutes, I know at one some he's like at $0, right? Yeah, for $3,900, he could play all but like 8 minutes for. I don't know what's going on with Washington. I hate it when I can't project teams. That's why I'm getting to like just a smattering of Kuzma. I'm going to limit it to like whatever 15. He could smash. I just don't understand the rules. And whenever I don't know what the rules are, I limit it to GPP only levels, which is like 5 to 15%. Because who cares? Because like. You never want to rule out a guy like Max Strus, so you always have at least a little bit. And this year he's getting peripherals too. Like he's jumping over Evan Mobley for rebounds every game. Watch this. Like tonight, if you don't believe me, watch the Cleveland game. I mean, I'm going to watch it anyways. Like, yeah, it's a standalone late game, so you're watching this game anyway. Watch Max Strus on the boards, man. Well, I mean, did he used to do this and Bam just like would get the rebound anyway, or is this new? He's incredible on the boards this year, and it's like. It's not quite Rod. He's not good enough, like athletically, to be compared to Rodman, but like his attention to it is very high. I really like it. And so, similarly, Evan Mobley's attention to these is very low. And so, I mean, I don't know what's going on. He can't get there any night. I do know what's going on. We're more athletic, like we're more offensive minded. I don't care about rebounds either. All right. Well, it's been fun winning with you guys. Let's remember, you're good enough, you're strong enough, and gosh darn it, someone's got to win that money. And in basketball, might as well be us.